Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Jin Chin.
And I'm Ben McCain. Thanks for joining us on a holiday edition of This Week in Torrance. Here are the stories that made 2014 in Torrance a year to remember. Louis Zamperini was a World War II hero, an Olympian, a track star at the University of Southern California, and a motivational speaker. When Laura Hillenbrand's book, Unbroken, shared his story with the world one more time, his legend grew even more. But before he became the inspirational figure known around the world, Zamperini was a boy getting into trouble in Torrance. He became the youngest distance runner to qualify for the U.S. Olympic team in the 1936 Games. In those days, athletes paid their own way to the Olympic trials, and it's said that a group of Torrance merchants got together to raise money for Zamperini, giving him enough to live in Randall's Island, New York, during the trials. Even then, Torrance was always behind him, so it was no surprise when he passed away in July. As many as 2,000 people showed up to Zamperini Stadium to pay respects to a local legend. He was 97 years old. Here we remember Zamperini in his usual red ball cap by flashing back to our last visit with him at CitiCABLE. Megan Medic has the story.
He's an American war hero, an Olympian, and his biography won an author a Pulitzer Prize. Louis Zamperini's touching life story and his will to live is an inspiration to all.
I was never registered as a POW, so after the war, all I did was drift around in Okinawa and Manila, a man without a country.
Residents want to make sure he is remembered forever. And thanks to the donation of a P-51 Mustang model aircraft by local resident David Breedy, he will. Zamperini stopped by his old stomping grounds to see the model aircraft on display.
It's fabulous. I mean, the airport has been I used to play here when I was a kid.
The 1/5 scale model aircraft will be displayed at the General Aviation Center at the Torrance Airport. It has Zamperini's initials and birthday incorporated into the design details. Zamperini smiled for the cameras, told stories of his days as a POW, and relished in this moment of recognition.
We landed, went off the strip into the jungle, and then the next day we got clearance. We got the bomber back on the runway, and there's no way we're going to get in the air. It's too short, and I was waiting for the crash. Now, all I've been through, now I'm dead. And the plane finally just climbed up about 10 feet above the water, then I knew we were okay.
Reporting for Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Megan Medic.
Thanks, Megan. Before leaving us, Zamperini was named Grand Marshal of the 2015 Rose Parade, with his family riding in his place and the blockbuster film Unbroken telling his story. Zamperini's legend will be living well into the future. The Torrance Rose Float Association's theme for the 2015 parade is a tribute to him called A Race Well Run.
And speaking of the Rose Parade, 2014 started like many other years for residents with the 61st appearance of a Torrance float. The 2014 float got us all excited for things to come over the summer. Soccer fans worldwide were already eager to start the 2014 World Cup. Here in Torrance, we were preparing to open the $3.2 million Toyota Sports Complex, a centerpiece in hosting the AYSO National Games. The World's Game was already on everybody's minds abroad and here in Torrance. So what better way to kick off the year than paying tribute to the organization that was built here 50 years ago? Faith Lee has that story.
On New Year's Day, Diane Ortega is wearing her soccer mom outfit for a special occasion.
I grew up in the city of Torrance, and I played AYSO, not the first year they had it for girls, but the second year.
American Youth Soccer Organization, or AYSO, is the Torrance Rose Float sponsor this year. And they chose Ortega to get a ride of a lifetime because soccer is a sport that means more than just a hobby for her.
As my 4 daughters were growing up, I coached them. It has been a huge part of my life.
Soccer has been a big part in many Americans' lives too. The organization that was founded in Torrance is celebrating its 50th anniversary and donated $100,000 towards the float.
Oh, it's amazing. It's recognition of 50 years. I mean, it's huge. It's soccer in the States. That's what it means.
Everyone Plays is the theme of the float, which is one of AYSO's philosophies to encourage every child to get on the field.
I do 2 different types of soccer. I play on the field and I freestyle, and it's just a lot of fun and I really enjoy it.
This is the second year Torrance has had to fundraise to keep participating in the Rose Parade after the city's budget cut just a few years ago.
Both years we got into these great relationships that really contacted us. The first one being Ace Clearwater that first year, the second one being AYSO this year to help them celebrate their 50th anniversary. So it's actually been kind of cool and pretty easy.
However, it could be a challenge for Torrance to make its 61st entry next year without enough fundings from the community.
They're asking every business in the city of Torrance to donate $20. And if that happens, they'll be able to have a 2015 float.
Into Ortega, AYSO is supporting more than just the float, but her family's tradition for years and years to come.
One weekend, one of my daughters, when we were going to games, she said, "Mom, what do people do on the weekend when they don't have soccer?"
For This Week in Torrance, I'm Faith Lee.
Thanks, Faith. The 2015 Rose Float theme continues the association's tradition of community service by using a complete volunteer force in building the float.
Now back to that big year for AYSO. Since the youth soccer organization was founded here in Torrance, it only seemed appropriate to bring the AYSO National Games back home on its 50th birthday. Now we head back to the summertime with athletes and families filling the StubHub Center to kick off the games. Juan Hernandez joined the party.
Over 3,000 soccer players and their families all packed into one venue to celebrate a game. 50 years after AYSO Soccer started out of a Torrance garage with just 9 teams, 250 of them are here to say happy birthday.
Well, I'm pretty proud of all these people here. We had over 10,000 people in here tonight. They're going to have a great time in the city of Torrance. And I'm very pleased to see all the kids come out, the U19s and below, and they'll start the day out being apprehensive, but at the end of the day, they're going to be making new friends throughout the world, and they're going to be texting these people probably for the rest of their lives.
The AYSO National Games opening ceremonies, for lack of better words, kicked off with teams from every corner of the country and a whole lot of cheering. And the message of the nonprofit organization's mission could never have been louder.
I want the soccer players to, first of all, give a round of applause to the referees that are coming here to do this race.
Soccer is close to my heart. I played as a kid, my husband played, I'm a soccer mom. And so to come out today and kind of inspire the parents that they need to be fit from the sidelines and lead by example, and all about community involvement, about inspiring each other to be the best that you can be.
The last thing I want to ask you is, what is the one thing that you're looking forward to the most now that the games are on?
Winning. I'm looking forward to be with my team and becoming more as a group together, and we're becoming a real family and having lots of fun here.
And with the focus on Torrance and the visitors it would bring to our hometown, nationwide, the opportunity to play in Southern California meant thousands of athletes earning their ticket by paying it forward.
We actually did a fundraiser to help our park, and we did we planted some new plants, we pulled some weeds out to make it look nice. A grant project.
We did a pancake breakfast. We sell pancake tickets. We have been trying to raise money to get up here.
The LA Galaxy's Futboleros, the mayor of Torrance, and even a world-famous fitness guru. All in attendance. All fans of the oldest youth soccer organization in the United States.
You know, I think they're really going to enjoy it. You know, we have one of our offices here, and I spend a lot of time in Torrance myself, but I think what the kids will take away from here is true community and friendship. I think that everyone's going to go away with a warm feeling about Torrance, California. And
Tennessee!
Thanks, Juan. The estimated revenue from the week-long event gave Torrance's economy a nice $15 million boost.
Well, still ahead, we take some more looks back at the year that was in order to see what's in Torrance's future.
Like one student who earned a perfect score on her SAT. But first, here's a look at your 5-day forecast.
For an appetizer, I'll have this.
Yes, madame. An excellent choice.
And for the main entree, would you recommend this?
Oh, yes, indeed. You won't be disappointed.
In many cases, today's car thieves are very discriminating with expensive tastes. Help us put a stop to this free lunch. If you suspect car theft or insurance fraud, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB.
A promise was made. A promise that hit the beaches of Normandy. A covenant that split the skies over Berlin. A vow that captured Iwo Jima. A promise was made. A solemn oath that liberated Seoul. A sacred trust that defended Quezon. A pact that dug in Da Nang. A contract that weathered Tet. A promise was made. A pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq. A bond that patrolled door to door in Fallujah. An IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. A promise we all must keep. DAV fights for all veterans and their families so they get the health care, financial benefits, and support they earned. If you're a veteran who needs help or you'd like to help us keep the promise, visit DAV.org.
Welcome back, everybody. Children have a way of proclaiming their plans to one day become a fireman, an athlete, or an astronaut. Students at Riviera Elementary learned this year that they should never let go of those dreams. And who better to deliver the message than a real live astronaut?
NASA astronaut Colonel Douglas Wheelock has spent more than 178 days in space and took a few hours out of his busy schedule to visit Riviera Elementary School recently.
It's really easy for me because I look out and I can see myself reflected in those faces.
Wheelock's visit was in conjunction with Space Science Day at El Camino College and in memory of astronaut Ellison Onizuka, who was one of the astronauts killed on the Challenger in 1986.
The intent is to help pursue what Ellison was all about, and that is inspiring kids to learn about science and space and follow their dreams.
In preparation for Wheelock's visit, the students at Riviera Elementary learned about his career.
We wanted to make sure that our students had some knowledge about his career and his experiences. So the students have been reading his biography and annotating that to formulate some questions.
Colonel Wheelock has achieved what many believed to be impossible and is now teaching kids to follow their dreams and shoot for the stars.
Well, what I want them to see is that their dreams and goals are not crazy. You know, not everybody wants to be an astronaut, not everybody wants to be a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher, whatever it is, that it's okay to have these goals, personal goals and dreams.
Fourth grade student Allison Stowe enjoyed the presentation and said her favorite part was Wheelock's videos from space.
I've never really seen space before, so it's really new to me.
Wheelock will return to his job as a NASA astronaut, but truly inspired some young people in Torrance during his visit. For Torrance City Cable, I'm Anne-Marie Williams.
Well, next up at the top of North High's graduating class stood one student whose motivation came from simply trying to be more like his sister. Our next story highlights the bright young valedictorian of North High.
510 students graduated from North High this year, but just one of them was valedictorian. His name is Justin Kim.
Born in South Korea, Justin Kim came to the U.S. when he was just 12 years old. Not knowing a word of English, Kim began his path to academic success with hard work and perseverance.
I realized that, if I really work hard, I do get recognized.
In his high school career, not only did Kim maintain a high grade point average, but he was also involved in 6 clubs, and of those 6, he was board member of 4.
My always ultimate goal is to be like my sister, become good at everything else. I wanted to challenge myself because my aim was to become a valedictorian.
And thanks to Kim's 5.0 GPA, he not only earned the top spot at North High, but also got accepted into UC Berkeley. He will attend starting this fall and will continue his education from help with the SoCal Edison Scholarship.
Look at this, look how shiny it is. I just feel so happy. Tony Stark in Iron Man is my ultimate dream to become what? I really think of him as my idol, although he's a fictional character. One day I dream to become like him. And in order to become like him, I gotta work hard. and enjoy myself.
And enjoying his life is something he's already ingrained into his being. At the young age of 18, Kim already lives by this quote.
Genius, talented people can never win against hard workers, and hard workers cannot win against passionate individuals. What I like to do, everything I do, I try to enjoy it. Whatever things that come up to me, I just think about how that I'm meant to do this, and I just gotta do it, so I gotta enjoy it. A lot of people come up to me and say, oh, aren't you like the smartest student in high school because you're the valedictorian? I'm nowhere near to be a smartest student. There's so many people out there who's much smarter than me. So I think the definition of valedictorian is someone who endured until the end.
For Torrance City Cable, I'm Crystal Garcia.
Justin is now attending UC Berkeley as a freshman.
One local student that could give Justin a run for his money or perhaps make quite the Torrance super duo if they ever work together is Bishop Montgomery's Samantha Nishimura. Jacqueline Sarkeesian has her story.
Samantha Nishimura proves you can do it all and still have fun.
When I saw my scores on the computer, I think I whipped out my calculator and added up 800 plus 800 plus 800 just to make sure.
That's right, Samantha scored a perfect score on her SAT, and it was only the second time she took the exam. Her first score was only 70 points shy of perfection. When asked what she did differently to prepare, she answers,
I approached it differently. I stopped thinking of the SAT as this huge looming obstacle in front of my future, and I just took it as another test.
Samantha's perfect score puts her in the top 0.000275% of students that take the college prep exam. The junior is humble about her elite accomplishment and thanks her mom for breaking the news.
I didn't tell any of my friends. My mom made one Facebook post and then everyone found out.
Samantha credits her parents for instilling the values of hard work, dedication, and perseverance. They always encourage her to do her best.
My parents have always been really supportive. They've always just said, as long as you try your best, we're happy.
Samantha is more than just a 4.65 student. She is involved in many school activities, such as being the co-editor-in-chief of the school newspaper, and she is also all-league on the varsity tennis team.
I don't know how she handles all of it. She's, a remarkable young woman.
Samantha is also the treasurer of the Key Club, co-president and co-founder of the school's book club, and one of the actors in the drama club's upcoming production of Macbeth. Even Samantha's teachers are amazed by her, often putting them on the spot.
She brings up topics that, I maybe didn't consider, bringing up during the class at all, and so she kind of will put me on the spot and be like, what about this, what about that?
And we'll be talking about a text that I've read over and over again to teach, and she'll bring up an insight that's really significant that I had never thought of before.
Samantha enjoys sharing her accomplishments with her friends and classmates by helping them believe they too can have it all. For Torrance City Cable, I'm Jacqueline Sarkeesian.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Samantha is a senior this year and will graduate in the spring of 2015. The last time a Bishop Montgomery student logged a perfect score on the SAT was back in 1995. Senior John Nosko earned a perfect 1600 as the writing portion of the test hadn't been introduced yet. So technically, Samantha's the first perfect score at 2400 at Bishop Montgomery.
Wow, that's incredible, incredible. Well, still ahead, it affects people and families all over the world with no known cure.
Here in Torrance, cancer survivors give inspirational stories in their fight to live life to the fullest.
Hey, Daniel. The gentleman over there, he paid for your meal.
The power of one small action, one conversation, or one phone call can make a difference in the life of a veteran going through a difficult time. For free 24/7 confidential support, call the Veterans Crisis Line or the Military Crisis Line.
Oh, it's gonna be great. I think it goes around.
Let's go. We gotta get you in practice.
And it's set.
Welcome back. It was a year of growth and change at Torrance Memorial Medical Center. The hospital's most obvious addition came in the form of the new Lundquist Tower, a 390,000 square foot building that opened in November. With 256 new private rooms and 18 surgical and interventional treatment rooms, there's even more space to give patients the best possible care. For one patient, well before the tower opened, getting state-of-the-art care became imperative in his battle against prostate cancer. It's the second most common form of cancer among men, and according to the American Cancer Society, more than 2 million men in the U.S. are survivors of it today. In this next story, a local man teaches us how his dedication to billiards taught him how to take on that struggle, while new technology at Torrance Memorial gave him a chance to win the fight.
Professional pool player for over 20 years, David Hema realizes the skills he learned would prepare him for something bigger in life.
When it comes to the game of pool, the ins and outs of emotions are tough on the game itself.
Then a different kind of emotional hit came when Hema received unexpected news.
The re-diagnosis, after 5 years, that was one of those deals where you're just going like, wow, I got to do radiation.
Traditional radiation usually treats beyond affected tissue, causing more side effects. Hema was the second patient at Torrance Memorial to undergo treatment with the new TrueBeam device.
The dose is very, very tightly honed in on the area that's at risk for the cancer recurring, or where we know there's actually active cancer. And the doses to the surrounding normal tissue are now significantly less.
The treatment didn't affect me much. I mean, it really was, I just did everything pretty much the same, a little bit of fatigue, but for the most part, it was like I was expecting something really devastating.
For as large as the TrueBeam device is, it can focus in on a sub-millimeter level, and treatment time on the actual table is only 2 to 7 minutes.
Traditional radiation takes about 20 to 30 minutes, and while Hema's 34 radiation sessions are over, he now meets with Dr. Tira Endicott to see how the device helped. His professional career in the game of pool has shifted.
I've taken more steps into teaching than competing, and when I teach, I have a lot of students that give me praise, which makes me feel really good too.
Hema has a different outlook on life, and it's more than just winning. Reporting for Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Julie Chan.
Thanks, Julie. Torrance Memorial was the first South Bay hospital to employ TrueBeam technology back in March of 2013. It took the hospital staff several months of training and testing of different beam energies and shielding before they could use it to help patients like David.
For another community member, Kimberly Levine, beating breast cancer wasn't the end of her story either. Improvements in treatment and the awareness raised by devoting an entire month to educating the world about its effects have saved millions of lives, according to the American Cancer Society. In the NFL, athletes don pink in support of breast cancer awareness every October. Here in Torrance, there are fundraisers like Dig Pink, a prep volleyball match that joins the cause. And of course, nationwide, you will see news programs and television shows dedicated to breast cancer awareness in an effort to get women the necessary test before it's too late. Laura Fong has this next story where Kimberly Levine's victory over breast cancer landed her on one of the most popular shows on daytime television.
Kimberly Levine, come on down!
That's Torrance resident Kimberly Levine on CBS's The Price is Right. She was invited to attend a special episode dedicated to Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Everyone in the audience that day was a survivor, a supporter, or recently diagnosed.
You know, to have breast cancer, to have all these other doors open, I mean, you volunteer at these places, this becomes your family, your group, and to come out on top of something at the end of a really hard situation is amazing.
Levine is now 18 months cancer-free and is thankful for the support she's received, especially from the Redondo Beach cancer support community, which she considers family.
You don't have to be going through breast cancer alone. There's so many people, and there's women that go through it. They fight every single day. Your hair may fall out, but you still get up every morning and you do your day. You go about your day.
The American Cancer Society estimates more than 230,000 women will be diagnosed with invasive breast cancer this year, making early detection a key to survival. And for those diagnosed, it's important to find a support group. After her first mammogram at 40, Levine was diagnosed with DCIS, the most common type of non-invasive breast cancer. She chose to have a bilateral mastectomy.
I was able to wear my shirt that said, you know, something, yeah, they are fake, the real ones try to kill me.
With her optimistic outlook, Levine is all smiles as she talks about her experience on The Price is Right.
You just have, hundreds of women in pink with their supporters, and everyone becomes family. And every person that gets called down, you're cheering and you're just so excited.
Not as excited as when her bid was closest to the actual retail price, and she got invited on stage to meet Drew Carey and play the $10,000 game.
1, 2, 3.
It's just amazing that someone gave me, the opportunity to be able to win that kind of money. It just doesn't come every single day. And it's a blessing for me.
Levine's fight with breast cancer wasn't always easy, but she always had her support group by her side, and she continues to keep hope close to her heart in the form of necklaces.
It connects me, yeah. You come a long way and you just want little symbolic symbols that just remind you of the path.
For Torrance City Cable, I'm Laura Fong.
Thanks, Laura. That episode of The Price is Right aired in the end of September, just before the start of this year's Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Now, before we sign off, Juan Hernandez also has a special holiday show planned for you on the sports desk. Let's see what he's got, Juan.
Thanks, Juan. That's going to wrap it up for us on This Week in Torrance. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Ben McCain.
And I'm Jin Chen. Happy New Year from all of us here at Torrance City Cable. Coming up in 30 minutes, we'll review another year on a special edition of This Week in Torrance.
It's safe to say Louis Zamperini was the main headliner in Torrance for 2014.
That story and much more coming up in the next half hour, so stay tuned for the local news you care about.
Welcome home.